Most welcome to the Voice of Evolution. I'm bringing my work as in teaching the eternal vibrations back in the body, as the name of this universe is eternity. It becomes very important to understand mathematics and sacred geometry and how that can reformat your eternal vibration into the immortal vibration even. And that is where we are at. If we look at how a cell division starts off from birthing in the womb, it starts off with a division at the base of your spine in the back, and the division starts off into 8 cells. From these 8 cells, the center point creates a line, and from that line we create a triangle, and from there on everything starts exploding. Actually, many do know the wings of creation, what many people do call the torus, or the fractals that move inside out clockwise and counterclockwise. So what I'm willing to say is becoming the eternal vibration and in installing that in the body really starts with getting these 13 eternal spirals back in connection with the format of your first 8 cells in order to create body parts from the cells. That is the origin of eternity. So if we have 8 spirals going from the nucleus of your energy wheel, your chakra system actually, and we move 13 eternal spirals counterclockwise into it so they can merge together, then we start creating actually sacred geometrical pattern that hold a high level data consciousness, and reason why each of these 13 eternal spiral has a color code connected to it, and reason why the setup of the 13 chakra system, moving that in the 7 system of the chakra, is very, very important. Because when one color fails, it is causing impossible to move back into your eternal vibration. And then it becomes important to understand why and how come we are Christ-like beings, or crystalline consciousness, or crystalline currencies, as the elements would term it. And then it's very nice just to look at a crystal. I have a black Arkansas crystal over here, and so its patterns are very important and define actually the consciousness it has gathered over millions of years on the planet. And so within, right, the micro and macro cosmos needs to match, and reason why it is so important to get the mathematics of subtraction and adding in. Subtraction means essentially moving anything that gets in the way of shifting and elevating consciousness into your original, eternal, universal vibration, needs to be eliminated. I'm talking about the lower astral planes of consciousness, as we are heading a time in which the perfection of male-female vibrations needs to match. The sun, the great central sun, the moon, the great central moon, and all the planets in between of the Milky Way need to rotate in perfect order back in the body. And there it becomes very interesting how we can subtract old consciousness that doesn't serve evolution. And by that I actually mean the lower vibrations, angers, fears, irritations, frustrations, everything, every single item of consciousness that does not elevate your consciousness should leave the equation, and that is what we mean by subtracting. So within these 13 eternal spirals, there are certain spirals at certain times in evolution that are perfectly for subtracting that. For example, we can apply a blue way to subtract the fear in the pituitary gland, just stating an example, and then we can work with that for a week and see the changes in every energy wheel, because everything between the moon and the sun needs to move together. What is meant by that is that everything between the brain and the body needs to move synchrone, minus the mind, which was actually simply ego consciousness and stands in the way of evolution. And so everything becomes interesting when understanding that each energy vortex within the body can be expanded upon, can be assisted by the elements such as crystals, such as rays, such as mathematics. If, for example, we get the mathematic 111, we can apply that number to breathe through with a specific way, with maybe a specific geometrical pattern, such as a triangle, and move that through a particular part of your body. For example, the liver that had to sustain and stream and hold a lot of low mental, psychological, emotional nodes. So it's very important to release the liver from the old digestive system. And when subtracting or eliminating or evaporating, no matter how you would like to term it, it's all perfect as long as you understand that that needs to be done in order to add more to your geometrical equation and evolve from the triangular equation, for example, into a diamond of light, into a tetrahedron of light, into when every chakra with all 13 eternal spirals moves synchrone, and you've done the work in the the heart and the brain, and eliminating all subconsciousness levels and deep subconsciousness levels through the water, especially of your body, as we are all water, then the water of your body will reveal a lot of memory codes and data and specific information for your work on the planet. So I hope it is a bit more clear how important it is to become an eternal healer, an eternal being in the first place, and move on from there, from the old solar body into the new sun stream with the perfect male vibration. So male and female need to match in evolution in order to gather into Unitarian consciousness, which is the flow of life in which all spectrums of the spirals move synchrone with the ecosystem, and reason why there's so much work outside there and repairing the soil, the elements, and the seas, the oceans, the lakes, and especially to bring the body to the highest level of nutrients from the elements, from the herbal kingdoms, fruits, vegetables, and all that. So everything needs to match in perfection before we can arrive there. So the first lesson here is really the setup of at least these 13 energy wheels into perfection, so you can fuse them into a beam of light, actually, or the sword of light that can easily adjust to all the planetary systems and then move up into the celestial body. So there's a lot of training here with the eternal body, moving into the eternal breathing system, and how these spirals move up and down and clockwise, and sometimes only counterclockwise. So it's about listening to your body, but the most important thing is actually opening up the energetic spaces within the crown. The root needs to be opened, the fingers, the toes, the energy wheels within your feet, your knees, the hips, and so on. So and these are open up through upgrades, through the subtraction and the adding of new consciousness through color codes, means you move from one geometric pattern into a next level and then work again with that. So the eternal teaching is actually your foundational setup with the universe, with your source, your spark self, and opening your levels back into the ether's spirit consciousness along the water teachings, the teachings through the earth, the air teachings, which is spirit, and how everything can fuse and how you can understand it, because understanding is going to be the most important fashion ever, because if we understand how our energy moves, then we can teach how we can move energy, and we can heal and assist the entire population. And that is all within the formats of sacredness, of geometry, and understanding how mathematics move. I'm not a mathematician. I don't know anything about mathematics, but I know how to apply a number. And I know if my source gives me a pattern with a number and shows me how to apply it in my body, that is not too difficult. So that is how easy our source can bring it through at this time. So next time I will elaborate on this as well, because I think it's very interesting, it's very important, and also that we have some fun with the procedures of moving into the beauty of geometry. Thank you for being with me. Thank you. Bye.